Welcome back to Save the Pumpkins podcast, Christmas edition. Once again, you're with Amy.
And this is Shane. I'm going with I always need to mix it up because it's every time I listen to it back, it's you get the intro, right? Because you're like, hey, this is a Christmas podcast, Christmas edition. And you sound all like great, but I go, well, it's right. And I just kind of,
Oh, do you want to start this over and you do the introduction?
I don't want to start anything over. No, I'm not jealous of you getting the intros. I want you to have the intros. When I listen to it back, I sound like the person in the podcast that you wish would shut up.
Oh, no.
Which is too bad considering I talk about 90% of the time.
That is true.
Okay.
So go ahead. What do we got today?
Ooh, you're going to give me this one. Oh, that's nice. We've got 2023's A Biltmore Christmas, starring Bethany Joy Lenz as Lucy Hargrove and Kristoffer Polaha as Jack Houston. I said that right. His name is a little strange at the end there, but he's been in things. We like him a lot, so I'm not clowning on his name. Kristoffer Polaha is his name, as Jack Houston. This is directed by John Putch.
And who else is in it?
Oh, Jonathan Frakes.
And?
As Riker. No, I'm just kidding. He's not as Riker.
For all you Trekkies there.
He plays Winston.
Well,
if you're talking about Margaret.
No, I'm talking about Peggy. Her name is Peggy.
Oh, holy mackerel!
Her name is Peggy Jennifer Cortez.
Who the heck is that?
That's the other person who's there at the Biltmore that she becomes friends with that watches out for her to make sure she...
Oh, you're wrong. I get to correct you this time.
No, I'm not.
Her name's Margaret. We laughed about her the whole time. Oh, isn't that so funny? The last episode, I got a name wrong, and this one, you're getting the name wrong. This is Margaret, played by A.K. Benninghofen. Yeah, I looked her interviews with her up, so you've got the wrong name. Margaret. I was like, what the heck are you talking about? Who's Peggy?
Well, Peggy is Margaret. People who are named Margaret can be called Peggy.
I have literally never heard that in my life, and I hope the kids listen to this. That can't be a thing.
Okay, so who are you saying?
Her name is, the character in the show's name is Margaret. She's the one that's like, his merry wife, and she keeps calling it out. She's like on the tour with her that helps Bethany Joy Lenz's character. The character's name is Margaret, but her real name is. Oh yeah, all the names are kind of interesting in these actresses and actors. A.K. Benninghofen, which is the correct way to say it because she is all over YouTube. Like she does like what do you call them? Motivational things, and stuff, and she's like got her and her husband and her 2 kids and their dog. They do it. She's everywhere. So
okay, well then I'm a little bit confused.
Well, wait a minute. You can find her. Is she not on IMDb? That's where I saw her. She's doing like this on IMDb. No one can see this, but she's like this with her hair and her. I love her. I think she's great in the movie. But she's doing like this.
I think she was the perfect person to bring in that character.
If we're talking about sidekick characters that we like, and I'm only saying sidekick because I can't think of supporting character is the correct term to say. But I think sidekick makes them sound more fun. Even it makes them sound like a superhero, but she is the superhero in this one. She's great. Like she's fantastic. She is the perfect. I was gonna talk about another one of my favorite movies. I was gonna call her like a garnish.
Oh, that's funny. We just watched
You've Got Mail. Yeah,
You've Got Mail.
She's perfect as a supplemental character in the movie. So I'll go right out and say it, and maybe it's because of how much I love the western portion of the state.
Yeah, in our home state.
Yeah, in our home state. Yeah, but I mean, we had always talked about how we maybe not want to let everybody know what state we're in or whatever. Like, it doesn't matter. It's fine. And they talk about Asheville, a place that we visit and we love. And, the Biltmore estate we've been to, and not as much as our daughter, but we've been to it, or our children in general. But we've been to it, love it. It's beautiful. We've got pictures of us with our children. You have pictures of us with our children. You showed them to me while we were watching the movie in every scene.
Yeah. It's always neat to be able to visualize when movies like this, come around locally and actors come and stuff to the places that you've been. Because I literally, like you said, while we were watching the movie, pulled the pictures up
isn't it funny how when you like a movie, both of us are sitting up a little bit more
Yeah.
and we're leaning in towards the mics a little bit, and you can tell when people talk. This is just a little psychology, a little armchair psychologist stuff. You can tell when people are more excited and they really like something. And I do want to say this though, I did not like this movie because it was shot at the Biltmore alone.
Right.
It's a really good movie. Like
right.
it's done really well. John Putch is not a Hallmark director by trade. He's done all different kinds of movies. He puts his spin on this, and it is not the boilerplate blueprint. When we talk about those movies, a little bit like the Santa Stick Out movie was. I liked it, but a little bit like that, where they're like, blueprint movies. When you think of, oh, it's one of those movies, this isn't. Like, it is because it has to have the love story and all that fun stuff, but that doesn't mean anything, right? Because there are love stories in rom-coms all the time that aren't Hallmark movies. So it's really charming.
Well, I mean, the backdrop, the
beautiful
clothes,
oh yeah, so we have to talk about this.
Acting.
All right, so I'm gonna kind of just freestyle a little bit here, without even really looking at any notes or anything. So I say that, and then I have to remember her name right. Bethany Joy Lenz plays Lucy, and she is a screenwriter. She's a writer, right? And she has been tasked with writing the remake of a 1947 movie called His Merry Wife, is the name of it. I'm pretty sure that's the name of it. His Merry Wife. And she has a meeting. The movie opens up, and she's got a meeting with the production company, the owner of the production company, and he's reading through her script, and he goes, "You changed the ending." And this is the part of the movie that I brought this up to you before we came on the air, and I'm just going to bring it up briefly because it sounds like a blight on the film, and it's really not. She changes the end of the film, and at the end of the film, apparently, Charlie, who is played by Kristoffer Polaha, who's an angel in the movie. In the 1947 movie, this is another one of those movie within a movie, and it's got time travel a little bit, so it's kind of can get confusing if you're not willing to pay attention a little bit. Some people hate time travel movies. So she's tasked with writing the ending to this 1947 movie where Charlie, played by Kristoffer Polaha, plays an actor named Jack Houston, who is playing a character named Charlie. So we have to say that out of the way. He's got 3 names in the movie, right? So Charlie, the angel he plays in the 1947 movie, is supposed to give up getting his wings to help the guy get the girl. And I don't understand what that means.
Well, okay, I think that what it is...
Because it's in the subtitles. That's what the guy tells her at the beginning.
I know, but what the conflict I think is, now that I'm thinking about it, is the guy that he's helping to get the girl, that was his girl before he died. Yeah,
but what's giving up his wings? What was he initially?
Relationship. He's giving up the love that he had for her.
On the subtitles, at the beginning, it says, and it's not. Forget subtitles. You can see the guy say it. I don't have to put the subtitles out there for my burden of proof or my proof. He says, at the end of the movie, because he gets upset with her that she rewrote the movie, and he says, at the end of the movie, Charlie is supposed to give up his wings to help the guy get the girl, which begs the question. What was he initially supposed to be doing to get his wings?
Well, I think it's supposed to be that you just got the wings because you died. So he's giving up his wings in order to help. They're clearly drawing
some a parallel to It's a Wonderful Life with the angel getting their wings there, and the angel to get the wings has to help someone, right? He has to help.
Are you saying? Are you maybe it's being misrepresented? Maybe it's getting, and they're saying that it's giving up, but it's getting.
On subtitles, and the guy said giving up his wing. I don't want to get too bogged down on it, and I'm going to go forward.
But it seems to really have bothered you.
Well, it doesn't make any sense when you go back and look at it, and I'm sure it will if someone can just explain it to me. By all means, one of the people that listens to this.
I'm going to be honest. Because this movie is good,
no one's going to care.
That gets lost.
I thought about that, and I know that if you call me a hypocrite for saying, wait a minute, you can't criticize the story in these other movies and decide you're going to let the story in this one go. And I'm not letting it go. That's why I'm bringing it up. It's dumb. It doesn't make any sense.
Yes, but that's you criticizing the story of a story, so you get a pass for that. You're not criticizing the story.
Thank you, but I actually don't think so. I think that if the story's dumb, it doesn't make it. I'm criticizing the story in a 1947 movie, but I'm not. I'm criticizing the man telling her he's supposed to give up. It doesn't make any sense. Anyway, the gist of it is she's trying to write the ending to a remake of this 1947, and she wants to write it with a more dour ending, with a more downer, if you will, because she thinks that's a little bit more like real life, right?
And doesn't he send her?
He says
to the Biltmore.
He says, and it just kind of made me smile when it happened because we know Asheville so well. He said, "Why don't you go out to Asheville? I've been to the Biltmore when I was a kid. That'll happen later. We'll see him. I've been to the Biltmore when I was a kid, and there's something about that place. Maybe you'll get in the spirit and realize that I want you to write the ending needs to be a sweet. This is a romance movie. Let reality shows have reality. This is a Christmas movie. Make it. It's kind of poking fun at itself a little bit because these movies all have that,
Well, and then there's also like they have like a showcase of like the actors and things used in that movie at the Biltmore.
Yeah, well, he wants her to just go and be at the Biltmore, so that she can get in the mood, get in the to feel it, right? And so she's like, okay, and he sends her, and we get this wonderful scene where she's at her hotel and she walks out to the completely glass wall and looks at the Blue Ridge Mountains, and you and I are like, oh my gosh, we know what that looks like, and it's just such a good feeling because we've seen those mountains 100 times, and it's not even the best depiction of those mountains of her standing in front of it. I was like, oh my gosh, you could have put her anywhere. You could have put her at the Grove Park. You could have put her anywhere with pictures of the mountains that would have just been killer. I have no idea, by the way, what hotel she stayed in. Not picking on the hotel. And certainly not Asheville.
Well, she stayed on the Biltmore grounds.
Oh, is that where the hotel was? She was staying on?
There's the hotels on the Biltmore.
Anyway, but they didn't have as good a shot of the Blue Ridge Mountains as I would have thought. Anyway, so she goes out to the Biltmore estate, takes a tour where she meets Margaret, and Jonathan Frakes, Riker from Star Trek, he's known as Riker.
He's the best.
That's just who he is. What'd you say?
He's the best.
And he's awesome. Riker's such a Riker. See, I'm calling him Riker. Jonathan Frakes such a smooth.
Yeah, and no matter how much older he gets, he still carries that suaveness about him.
That swagger. He's got that little swagger, and he's an old. I'm picking on him or anything. He's an old man now. So, but that swagger is still there. He's just still that guy, right? He's still the guy that's charming the pants off anybody he sees. Anyway, he's the tour guide. Seems Winston. Thought they were going to do something with him being a character from the past that, you know what I mean, something mystical. But I think he just knows more.
Like an angel himself.
He knows more though, right? Because it's the thing with the hourglass, and he's like, oh, it's got to be taken to the Smithsonian or whatever. Yeah, whatever, man. So he takes her they go on a tour or whatever, and they're like, hey, can you guys tell me whatever's this? And Margaret's like, I know. And she's holding her hand up, and she's hilarious. She's one of the people that's on the tour guide with Lucy. And he takes her, a.k.a. Benninghofen, plays Margaret. And he takes them all around the tour, and at one point he goes into, I think it's the Grand Library. Anyway, goes into the Grand Library, and there's an hourglass in the Grand Library. It's very clear this is going to be our plot, our little MacGuffin that's going to help her get to and fro.
Wait, but before you say that,
go ahead.
When they're taking the tour, they have these little like stands with like the pictures of the characters from that movie, that 1947 movie. And in the one picture of Charlie of Houston, Charlie, the character Charlie,
no,
it has
Charlie was the character in the movie, Jack Houston. Isn't it funny?
Houston.
He has literally 3 names.
So Jack Houston's photo, and I guess like biography, like a little depiction of him, and it says that he dies on a certain day, and she asks him, well, whatever happened, like what happened to him? And Frakes says, nobody knows, like it's,
you're telling this, and I feel like if you're telling this, you're going to have to spoil why that matters at the end, and I don't want you to.
No. I think that's like a little bit of a cliffhanger for our listeners, like to get intrigued to want to listen and watch it.
Yeah.
And so that plays a very crucial
it does
thing in the movie. So go ahead.
It does.
Sorry.
There's another one, and the other crucial bit is the crack.
Yeah.
But we'll cut it off there because honestly, this movie's such a joy. Just go watch it. It's really good.
It really is. I mean, just like we said, I mean, something about the mountains. I'm not a mountain person. I'm really not. I'm more a beach person. But something about the mountains around Christmas time in movies is very hypnotizing to me. So I thought that was a very good spot for them to pick to make a Christmas movie.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I agree completely. So she goes into the Grand Library, sees the hourglass there, gets a call from Mr. what's his name? Oh my gosh. Balaban, I think is his name. Gets a call from Mr. Balaban, and he's talking to her about it. She turns around and the hourglass has fallen over. She doesn't drop it there. It's fallen over. And she goes over and kind of sits it up, and she's looking at her paper when she walks out, and wants the hourglass, whatever magic was in it, right? She walks out and she's transported to the set, not in like everything has just changed. She doesn't walk through like a a force field wall. She just walks outside, and meets Jack and everybody, and she gets cast as a little candy cane girl in the movie or whatever because she gets mistaken
for
another actress, right? And she's like, what? And she goes back she meets Jack and gets a script and holds on to it. That was one of your favorite plot pieces. She had the script in her hand that somebody handed her. And she goes back in there, turns the hourglass back over or whatever, and goes back out. And Margaret's there and she's back in time. Back in her time. And she's freaking out. And she's like, there's got to be an explanation. I don't know what's going on. You guys are kind of playing tricks on me. And there are some reenactment people at the Biltmore that time of year. And she's like, oh, that must be what it was. No, Margaret's kind of following around like, you know something. What's going on?
Well, Margaret saw her just appear back and was like, how did you do that?
How did you just come back, right? So Margaret winds up helping her, staying in the present to make sure that, nothing happens to the hourglass. Because Frank says at the beginning of it, Winston, they're going to take the hourglass and put it in the Smithsonian because it's a historic piece of a movie that's a big deal. And so Margaret stays in the present to make sure that nobody's going to mess with it and that she can get back if anything happens. Just kind of look out for her. She's just being funny. She wants to be part of it because she loves that movie so much, right? And she's like, oh my gosh, you went back and saw Jack Houston and blah blah blah. And we spend a lot of time in the past, and they do a really good job. I don't know how authentic it is for 1947, but everybody's like, come on kid, come on doll, come on Buster, and they're talking like that. Not totally gangster, but then they show the clips from the movie, and there's all these old school transitions and wipes and things. And you're right, the costumes. Man, I think Bethany Joy Lenz is really pretty. I like her a lot. I think The Unexpected Christmas was a really good movie we watched with her. And it wasn't Unexpected Christmas. No, it wasn't Unexpected Christmas. It was with Hines,
with Tyler Hines.
Yeah, it was really good. I was for a minute there, I got confused with Next Stop Christmas with Chandler Massey, but with Tyler Hines, Unexpected Christmas, she's really good in that. I like her a lot. And I think didn't Emily say she was in One Tree Hill? I don't know her from that. The OC, One Tree Hill, something.
Oh, yeah, something like
that. Anyway, one of those. I think she's really pretty, but man, she looks dynamite in some 40s and 50s outfits. And so does he.
Oh, yeah, the way that they have his hair slicked.
Yeah,
and,
Kristoffer Polaha,
in that nice suit.
He looks dope. Yeah, he looks really cool. Yeah, just a super handsome guy and a pretty lady. And the costumes are just to die for. They're really good. And she goes back and she kind of gets to know a couple of the actors and actresses. We come to find out, a couple of the actors or actresses, maybe not so nice. But do you want to take over?
I mean, there's really not much left to say other than
she has to deal with how she's at one point. I'll just say this and we'll go back into it. At one point, she drops the hourglass and she starts. She's freaking out, right? Because that hourglass is her means of traveling to and from. So it turns out she was one that put the famous crack in it. Like it's some of that goes
Well,
on.
and so it keeps her there, and in her presence, though, her showing up during this time creates a conflict because she announces that she's with the production company, and because that name is a family name, the Bellard or whatever, it's recognized, and so some of the actors on the set feel like they're getting fired or they're going to be let go because
she says she works for the production company.
Right, but then remember the one actor came up to her and said, "Oh, finally you're here to replace my counterpart because it's about time. I wrote to him and told him that she needs to go."
Oh yeah, so that's
Right.
Colton Little plays Claude Lancaster. He's the leading man of the movie, the 1947 movie, His Merry Wife, and he wants
the female
who
co-star.
is Annabelle Bork plays Ava Hayward. What a great name for a 40s actress, a great fake name, Ava Hayward. That's such a Rita Hayworth, kind of like an old school Ava.
So because how weird is that she just says her name, not thinking that there's going to be any necessarily a correlation. Lo and behold,
when she initially goes back, she says her name's Sandra Bullock. Yeah, that's pretty funny.
And so there's the conflict.
Is it that? I'm not conflating two different movies.
No, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah. And so she spends the time while she's stuck there having to fix what was created by her being there, by going into that time.
Yeah, she does, but she spends more of it trying to make sure that because initially the ending, the history tells you the ending of the movie wasn't a happy, sweet, wonderful ending because the director was really bummed about his wife leaving him. We're getting into a little bit too much of the plot, but it's Annabelle Bork and Colton Little both are excellent. For some reason or another, the way Annabelle Bork plays Ava Hayward, I just really liked it. She threatens to quit because she thinks she's being fired, to bring it to echo your point, and they have to go get her in a really cool scene at the train station. It was a cool. She's got a tough little. By the way, that little act you didn't work. It's just really cool. She's
it was very well written, very well put together. The chemistry with everybody was fantastic. It was very enjoyable. I really. I guess I should start rating these movies more or less on the lines of, do I pick up my phone and scroll through it while I'm watching these? And I didn't do that for this one.
Ooh.
So I guess that meant that I was entertained from start to finish.
That's your little litmus test to see if you're enjoying it. Okay.
So I'm going to give this a 4.8 on the scale.
Easy. Yeah, it's way up there. It's a favorite, and I would absolutely watch it again at any point. If not for the love story, which I know that everybody loves them, and I picked on you at the end of this one. I said, all right, criticize oh my gosh, Santa Summit, and I can't even remember the name of my own favorite fall movie. What did I forget the name of my movie? How am I losing my mind? With Rachel Boston.
Oh, Field Day.
Field Day, good gosh.
Trip.
Family. I was thinking family. Start with an F. And Field Day. You didn't like those as much because it was not focused on a love story, focused more on the friendships, which was clearly the better part of it. And I looked at you at the end of this one and said, "All right, Miss Grumpy, you got your love story in spades."
It's true. It's true though.
Yeah, it's true that it can. What I would say is that it can be good both ways. And this was just an example of, oh wow, you really focused on the love story. But I would argue with you that the secondary characters in this one were just as strong. Margaret's fantastic. Ava's amazing. Even the director is really good. There's a lot of bunch of...
Okay, but that just goes to win my point over in that those are good as side supporting roles. The focus has to be those friends, those like this romantic old timey, like I think like a more like a traditional kind of girl, you know.
Wait a minute, see now you're starting to sound like you're gonna make. If anybody was gonna listen to us, you're gonna make them all think we're Candace Cameron Bure and that we only like things where it's a straight white male and a straight white female, and that's not what you mean by that.
That's not what I mean by that. But that's who I.
You mean a traditional love story in that. You want a love story. You don't want something that is marred with a bunch of friends. friendships and all that kind of junk. You want a good love story. That's
Right.
what you come to. So I get it. I know what you're saying. We gotta be careful. Ever since the Candace Cameron Bure world that we live in now is using the word traditional.
I mean, that's not what I meant.
I
But
know what you mean. I'm just messing with you. It's wonderful. 4-8 is easy. The ending, I'm not gonna spoil it. I'm not gonna say anything other than to say that I didn't think they were going that direction. I thought they would do a different thing.
Yeah, and it was very quick, and I think that's probably why I took a couple of points off.
It didn't take any points off for me. I wouldn't criticize the ending, but when the ending came, I was like, oh, really? Okay, and now what?
Right.
Was what
That's
I
what
thought.
I mean. Like, and it was just like quick and then
I was
over.
like, ooh, we're not going to explore that. That's powerful, but
Yeah.
okay, I get you. That's not normally we leave you with a little bit of a nostalgic, mournful moment, but nope. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, I loved it.
So I really encourage everybody to.
I do too. Don't take me away from it.
Okay.
All
We
right.
really encourage you all to watch this for sure and let us know what you think. If you agree with us on if it's a good movie or not. And just remember to do something that makes you happy today. See you next time.